Welcome to a new edition of the All Lakers podcast. I'm Alex Kirschenbaum, joined by Noel Sanchez. What's up, Noel?
What's going on, man? Really excited to talk about this early stretch of Lakers ball. I know you've been going crazy with your work over on Sports Illustrated, so let's get right into it.
Hell yeah. All right, we've got a lot to talk about. We're hot off a crazy bad loss to the Houston Rockets on Wednesday. It's Friday as we're recording this. We've got possibly another crazy bad loss to the Phoenix Suns impending. So the Lakers have yet to win on the road. A lot of guys have been hurt. My big thing that I want to talk about right away is the starting lineup. So when healthy, currently Darvin Ham is starting. D'Angelo Russell at the point, Austin Reeves at shooting guard, Taurean Prince and LeBron James at forward. It kind of depends on who's where in terms of their opponent, but usually it's like Prince at the 3, LeBron at the 4, and then Anthony Davis at center. Anthony Davis is already hurt because he's Anthony Davis. I think we need to make a change right away to the starting lineup. Unfortunately, the guy that I want in is not available right now because he's hurt. But I think when healthy, Gabe Vincent should replace D'Angelo Russell as the starting point guard. He's a much better point of attack defender, as we know. His shooting has been rough this year. He also hasn't been taking a lot of shots. He's very deferential by nature, and he's less of like a chucker than D'Angelo Russell is. So that's partially just like part of his like makeup as a player. But I just think he's a better fit because their perimeter defense, especially against backcourts, has been really rough. Reeves has not been good, but I'm not as worried about Reeves as I am about Russell. For now, I think what we should do is move Reeves to the point and then move Hachimura or Max Christie into the starting lineup. I know Max Christie's also been really bad, but I'm telling you, last year's Max Christie is still in there, and I want him starting. I do not want Cam Reddish starting, but I want D'Angelo Russell demoted immediately. I know his numbers have actually been totally fine. I know, but that's only on offense. When you watch him play, you're like, "What are you doing?" He's just the defense is not there, and it's they're always down double digits in the start of games, and I'm not saying it's all his fault, but it's a lot of it is his fault. Noel, your thoughts?
Oh, I don't know about that take. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think we're really early into the season still. It's very common just for us to want change right away. We're used to decades upon decades of success with this franchise, and we've had so many great, specifically guards suit up in the purple and golds. So I mean, when we're losing games specifically on the road, it's a stain on the franchise. When we're losing to, young teams that are like have a lot of fire and that have a motor to beat us, and like the Orlando Magic and the Houston Rockets, it's not a very good look. And with all the injuries, I definitely do see your take, Alex. Trust me, I do. When I see Gabe Vincent out there playing, like the 7% from three is not attractive at all, but like the other little things that he does, he makes the winning plays. He, like you say, he's timely with his shots. The 1 yards he is taking is not going in right now. But with that being said, I think that we do need to ride out D'Lo a little bit more, not just because like I want to see him thrive. I do think that the Lakers at their best is D'Angelo running in transition, hitting threes, finding AD on the pick and roll. I think when he is in his flow and he's running the offense, I think that's when we're at our best, and we saw it in the second half of last season when we made our crazy like season turnaround. But I am intrigued to see how Austin Reeves could be starting point guard. I'm not super high on Max Christie going into the starting lineup just yet because I think he definitely needs to show that he still has like that dog that he had him in the summer league. I think he was really coming into his own then, and also he had that really good shooting stretch last season. But I think with the struggles that Austin Reeves is having right now, I think really in order to get his confidence back, you need to put the ball in his hands and you need to just let him get to his mid range. And we've been seeing that the last couple games. So I don't agree with the Gabe Vincent taking over D'Lo's spot, but I do think that Reeves should get more run at the starting point guard position.
I think yeah. So I guess let's look at Gabe Vincent's numbers. It's been a hard start for him as an offensive player. Like you
I
said,
think it's the Lakers tax. When you put on a Lake uniform after a signing or a trade, you're bound like something in the contract says you have to shoot like crap like your first like 15 games or something.
that did happen to Patrick Beverly. He was terrible the first like 2 months, and then he rounded into form. He's still like he was an okay defender like immediately, but the shooting was so bad. But yeah, Vincent is 7% from three, like you said, 39.3% from the field, 50% from the free throw line. Now his career numbers are like okay, but I want to look at the playoff numbers from last year because the career numbers are like kind of not amazing either. But the playoff numbers are important. Last year, 40% from the field for Miami in 22 playoff games, 37.8% on 6.1 3-point attempts, and then 88.2% from the free throw, 1.5 tries. So that's what I want to see from him this year. I don't think it's unfair to expect that over the course of a regular season. Last year in the regular season, he didn't shoot great from three for the Heat, 33.4%. But the other numbers are pretty similar to the playoff numbers. So anyway, that guy's there, and he needs to shoot a league average at 35% from deep, and that's fine. But 7% is not cool. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think it's like you said, it's some sort of Lakers issue. I mean, he grew up a Lakers fan. He went to UC Santa Barbara, so Lakers were in his backyard when he was in college. I think he grew up in Northern California, but the Lakers were not good. The Warriors were not good when he grew up in Northern California. So, well, there was the Baron Davis Warriors, I guess, right?
There was the We Believe Warriors, yeah. So he did have a little bit to look forward to.
Yeah, 2 years of 49 win Warriors team, but whatever. And then all right. So you say keep the starting lineup as is when healthy. And then let's talk about Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves re-signed with the Lakers for a 4-year, $53 million deal, which at the time we thought was a steal. I still think it was a steal. The guy is still really good. He also is off to a rough start. Not terrible because he had a near triple double against the Heat. He had two 20+ games in Florida, or 20 points or more actually. But overall, it's kind of patchy, shooting 41.6% from the field, 27.8% from three, which is rough. 80.8% from the free throw line, but not a lot of attempts, 3.3. And he's averaging about what he did last year, which is not great because last year he was mostly a bench guy until the end of the season when he was elevated to the starting role and he averaged 17, 18 points a game. So yeah, I don't exactly. I think part of it is that he is not being let to play make as much and handle the ball as much as maybe he should, but also he's just not quite as I think confident in setting up plays and stuff, and I think he's been a little too tentative on offense generally. I don't think he needs to be demoted because the ceiling is high, but it's also a question of how much can he play through his mistakes versus basically what happens is because the Lakers can't totally trust him the way that maybe we expected they would be able to coming into the season, LeBron James has to do so much more than should be realistically expected of a guy who's about to be 39. He's playing his 21st season, about to surpass the career mark of minutes played of anybody in the history of the NBA. He's just doing too much. He's doing great, but it's too much. So I don't know. What do you think about what Austin Reeves is up to, how long this slump is going to go on from a shooting perspective? The defense hasn't been great, but he was never an amazing defender. He was always a willing defender. And I think willing is fine if the offense is where it was last season. It just isn't right now. But, yeah, what do you think about Austin Reeves' slump? How much should we be worried, I guess, on a scale of 1 to 10?
See, the thing with Reeves' early slump right now is that I do think it's a huge reason why our record looks the way it looks because essentially you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and then the other two guys that you gave bigger contracts to this offseason in Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura, those are the two guys that you're hey, you're going to be number 3 and 4. You guys are going to be kind of like that third star. I mean, you had Austin Reeves at media day posing with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. It wasn't D'Lo. It wasn't Rui. It was Austin. This is the guy that, people were expecting to really kind of be that next guy. Was it fair? I'm not sure because like Kendrick Perkins said the other day, I know Kendrick Perkins goes off on a limb all the time, but he's we didn't say Austin Reeves was him. Austin Reeves told us he was him, So on a scale of 1 to 10 when it comes to worriness, I would probably right now I'd probably give it nothing too high, maybe a 5 or 6, just because he had a long summer. He played Team USA. It was his choice. He wanted to get reps and he wanted to play with some of the young stars in the league and represent the country. But the thing with the Lakers right now is where we're really struggling is getting buckets in the first and the fourth quarter. That's probably the worst thing that you see with them because they're not starting off the game super strong. They're giving up buckets. They're not getting easy looks. And then when the fourth quarter rolls around, it's just like last year's Western Conference Finals. You don't really have that guy that you can give the ball to and say, hey, create something. It looks pretty rough. And then you have LeBron James at 38, 39 years old, just bulldozing his way to the rim, hoping that something happens, And at the end of the day, with LeBron being older and, defenses being able to create walls. You have a play like you did the other day against, I think it was against, when did Cam Reddish take that shot that he missed? Who was it against? Was it the
Oh,
Magic?
the Heat to win the
The
game
Heat,
at the
yeah.
end, the corner three. Yeah,
You have plays like that where Reeves, Reeves could have been in that corner. I think the play could have been drawn up a little bit better, but you have Darvin Ham who wants to give his new contract guys a chance. But like leading up to that play, Austin Reeves, he was getting into a one-on-one battle with Tyler Hero. He was doing like pump fakes, shooting contested threes, both him and LeBron James, and that's really where the problem is. You see the Lakers are charting among the bottom of the league when it comes to fourth quarter scoring, and first quarter when you're giving up all those buckets to young feisty teams that have a lot of energy, it's a problem. And one thing I do want to bring up real quick is the Rockets head coach Ime Udoka. He said that he told Jalen Green before they faced off against the Lakers that he needs to remember that Austin Reeves was chosen over him to represent Team USA. Jalen Green was put on the select team. Jalen Green
yeah.
was a lottery pick. He played in G League Ignite. He had all the fame all throughout high school. But then you have Austin Reeves, who had averaged 17 points in the Western Conference Finals, really put himself on the map, and who everybody's hyping up as this next star in LA. And he essentially stole the spot from a former lottery pick. So Jalen Green went on to score 28 points, and I just think that it's very clear that the entire league is kind of looking at Austin Reeves like, hey, like now we're going to game plan against you, and that's something that I think is only going to make him better. I'm still very confident that he's going to be that third guy for us. I think that we're still going to see a lot of who we saw last season, but it's all about comfort. It was never going to be like he was going to just take the next step right away. That's never the case with especially guards in this current NBA.
That's a good point. That's a funny anecdote about the Ime Udoka story, because it reminds me of when Pat Riley took Magic Johnson aside in I believe it was in Game 6 of the 1980 Finals, and he said, you lost Rookie of the Year to Larry Bird, and Magic Johnson said, "Okay, cool, close," and Pat Riley said, "Not at all," and then Magic Johnson went out and won Finals MVP. So in that
hopefully
Game 6 for Jump Center.
Hopefully Austin Reeves saw that on Instagram, and next time we play the Rockets, it's a much different story.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to ask you real quick, just going back to that Lakers game, we did see last season when Anthony Davis was injured and we couldn't play against the Houston Rockets, and then we had that big man depth trouble. It was pretty similar to this game because Christian Wood was really the only big available. We saw some Colin Castleton minutes, which is dope because I think he's going to be a nice piece somewhere down the line. But I mean, what do you think about just these early injuries specifically to the front court right now? It's crazy with Vando, with Rui, with Hayes, and then now AD.
It's funny because I wrote an article about how the Lakers have too much depth, which is not an original take. I've heard other people say that, and I agree. But it is weird to see how even too much depth doesn't save them, right? Christian Wood, not a good defender, good shooter, has played an outsized role already. Even before AD went down, they were closing with like three big lineups, or it would be like AD, Wood, and LeBron, all of whom are 6'9" or taller, and it actually kind of worked. Wood was playing engaged defense. He's not a great defender at all, but he tried, and I don't know how long we can expect that to even happen. But yeah, he's looked like, for a minimum guy, he's been totally fine. But it's just a little weird that when AD goes down, to rely on Christian Wood this much this early is rough. Jackson Hayes obviously seems like he has more defensive upside. He can't score at all. So it's like if you combine Christian Wood and Jackson Hayes into one guy, that'd be fine. But unfortunately, it is two guys, and one of them is hurt. So yeah, I don't know. It was kind of disconcerting to see him get just like shellacked by a bunch of young guns on the Rockets. So I am a little worried about what they're going to do with that. I think that like Vanderbilt's absence is a big deal. Although again, he was not good in the playoffs last year, and also he can't guard fives. He really can't. He's like he can guard ones through fours, which is weird because he's 6'9", but he's really fast, which is great. But he's also kind of skinny. So Hachimura was the guy that I thought was going to be this like two-way force, right? I thought he was going to be starting over Prince. And there were times earlier in the season where, I mean, it's only been 2 weeks, but like the first week, Darvin Ham played Cam Reddish like more minutes than Hachimura, which was driving me crazy because Cam Reddish, like, he's like a raw talent. He's got some defensive upside, can't score, can't shoot, and he's not a 4. He's a 3, but he was in these bigger lineups, and I just don't love that. But Hachimura has rounded into form recently. He looks kind of like his old self now. He's playing more minutes. He's averaging 12 points on pretty good shooting splits outside of the free throw shooting, 54.5% from the field, 41.7% from three. Anyway, I think that I want to see more Rui Hachimura in the current lineup, and I am pretty worried about the backup center situation because Christian Wood is fine on offense, but he's also playing mostly four when AD is healthy, and he can't defend anybody. So I'm a little worried. There's nothing they can really do outside of like making a trade. There's no one on the market you can get to supplant that right now. And Castleton's not ready. He barely played against the Rockets, but they needed him, and he needs a lot more seasoning. So I'm kind of worried short term about what they're gonna do, because the whole point of the summer, I think, was partially shoring up that wing a little bit with Gabe Vincent, and then also like getting some Anthony Davis insurance. And early returns are not amazing. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about the Hayes Wood of it all?
I mean, yeah, like you said, like we were waiting forever to find out who was going to be that next big that Rob Pelinka was going to sign. He had been hyping it up since like the early free agency period, and really it was just a couple of weeks before training camp started that we got the news that Christian Wood was going to be in the purple and golds. And like you said, offensively he's great. I think in the minutes that he's played, he's really only playing like low 20s right now, if that. And he's made winning plays. He had that putback dunk. He was talking about how he's basically the second line of defense behind Anthony Davis. So he's
not
always,
what you want.
Yeah, he keeps his eyes on the rim. He gets some good blocks here and there just because he's lanky. I think when he really commits, he can defend, but it's also like he's being put in these weird spots offensively where he's almost being used as like a catch and shoot guy. And I see smaller defenders on him, but then I also see like Darvin Ham waving him, like getting into a spot, sending him to the corner. Which I mean, he's a good shooter. He can hit threes when he's open. He can create some good mid ranges. But I just think definitely with the injuries, it's tough to see. But I do want to see Hayes and Christian Wood utilized a little better when they're both healthy, because Hayes, he's limited offensively. He can't really put the ball on the floor. Obviously, he can't shoot, but the pick and rolls are promising with D'Angelo Russell. The offensive boards, I think that's where we need to kind of pick it up on getting our second chance opportunities up, because that's what's been hurting us in a lot of these losses. But like you said, Alex, there's not a whole lot of people on the market right now, like at all. I mean, you even see the Clippers. They lost Mason Plumlee, and now they're looking to trade for Daniel Tice from the Celtics, I think. So
Pacers now.
Pacers. Yeah, Pacers. So yeah, just like you said, it would have to be a trade, but it also begs questions like, do the Lakers have other positions that are more like priority to trade for? That's my question. Like,
no, I think you need AD insurance.
More AD insurance.
I don't trust these dudes. I don't know. Look, it's a really small sample size, right? It's been 8 games, so it's like totally not fair to them in some ways. But AD always misses time. We knew this was going to happen, and it's just I don't really know. Is Daniel Tice like a huge upgrade over Christian Wood and or Jackson Hayes? I don't really know actually, because Christian Wood, like, he's shooting like 41% on threes, 41.7% on threes a game. That's so valuable when Anthony Davis is healthy. So it's like I don't want to lose him right now, but he's not. He's better alongside AD than he is backing him up. And like I don't know who that guy is, because you need like a rim protecting kind of guy. Do you go crazy? Do you go with like actually no, I don't know. I was gonna no.
Who was it?
Well, no, he's too expensive.
Who was it?
No, forget.
Miles Turner?
No. Miles Turner would be amazing.
He's expensive too, though.
Yeah, and he just signed an extension last. No, he can be traded. You can trade for him. It's just like, okay, fine. It was Clint Capella. Same idea, right? Rim rolling center. Unlike Miles Turner, he can't spread the floor, and he's like $20 million. So like, but Anthony Davis misses like 25 games a year, and like, could you play Clint Capella next to Anthony Davis? That's the real question, and I guess the answer is like, maybe. But
I mean, the guy that I always wanted, and like I tell all my friends this, I tell everybody this is like something, this is like a hill that I'll probably die on, is that I wish the Lakers had drafted Mitchell Robinson over Mo Wagner back in the day. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
remember I remember reading all these reports that they had promised that they were going to draft him. That like I'm pretty sure that he forewent college and he just trained on his own to get ready for the draft. But it's like still coming into the draft, he was still viewed as like someone who can make an immediate impact on an NBA team. And I mean, he's had his ups and downs with the New York Knicks, but I mean, as of late, I think he's been awesome. I think you see what he was able to do the Cleveland Cavaliers and Evan Mobley in last year's playoffs. Most recently, he was talking about going up against Victor Wembanyama, and I mean, he was pretty much the first guy to successfully kind of like, I guess, lowball him because he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna guard him like I guard Kristaps Porzingis and Bol." Everybody else who said that recently has been clowned and they've been like shut down. Like freaking Dylan Brooks tried to say it, and then they lost. He got pointed at after Wemby scored on him. Shaq compared him to Bol, and then I'm pretty sure Wemby dropped like 38 points the next day. So that's my pipe dream. I wish we had drafted Mitchell Robinson back in the day.
That's not a bad idea. Obviously gets hurt a lot, but yeah, good rim protector, pretty cheap, $15.7 million contract. Yeah, I'd be down. I don't know if the Knicks would want to give him to the Lakers.
Oh no, yeah, I don't think it would. I doubt it. The trade would go through. It was a trade. I wish. I'm not a trade. It was a draft pick. I wish we had rock with instead of Mo Wagner.
Mo Wagner though, like, yeah, I think he'd be a worse fit on this roster right now, this Lakers roster. But he's actually become like a good backup in Orlando, which is crazy because he looked so rough out of Michigan the first couple years he was in LA. But yeah, he's become a good player now with his brother.
Oh, his brother's amazing. His
brother's awesome.
His brother's a premier young player in the league for sure.
The Chicago Bulls, a team that I also follow, had his that was the Bulls draft pick, but they traded that away for Nikola Vucevic. So, yeah.
Can't be too upset about that one.
Well, I can't. But anyway, sorry. Yeah, so I think we need to worry about the backup center thing. I think something's got to happen. I don't know what. I think Mitchell Robinson's a great idea. We should do more research and figure out some center on a team. I mean, Daniel Tice makes sense. It's just like, is he any? I mean, he can play alongside Anthony Davis. He can also play center. So it's kind of like a more defensive Christian Wood. He's not as good an offensive player. Slightly better defensive player. Yeah, I could see it, but like, there's got to be other options.
Agree. We will get this video up today before the game, hopefully. So I do want to get your predictions. How do you think today's going to play out? I know Devin Booker is not going to play. Do you know if Bradley Beal status?
He's probable to play.
Okay, so it'll be Beal and KD for sure.
Yeah, but Beal was not that good in his first game back. He looked rusty on Wednesday, so I wouldn't be super worried about him. But they have a ton of shooters, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, Grayson Allen just had a career night from three. He had 8 3-pointers against, I believe it was
the Bulls.
The Bulls, yeah, your Bulls. Yeah, you definitely tune into that one. Yeah. So, what do you think? How do you feel about the Lakers' odds against the Suns tonight? First playing game.
That's right. It's the Lakers' first playing game of the season. I think that
in season tournament. My bad, not playing. That's not.
You're right.
We're far. Hopefully, we're not in the play-in this year.
Hopefully not. Where is it? Is it on the road?
I think it is on the road. Yeah, we're on a fat road trip right now.
Yikes. They have yet to win a road game. I don't know. I think everyone's exhausted. There's not enough healthy bodies on the Lakers. I'm pessimistic. I say the Lakers lose.
Any score predictions?
Let's go 108 98.
Okay.
What do you think?
Like, even though Beal is looking a little rusty and that back tightness is probably slowing him down, I think he's gonna have a bigger bounce back night. I can see him going for at least, I'll say, over like 23, 24 points. I think Suns probably win 115, Lakers 103. I think we crack 100.
That'd be nice.
Very nice.
Okay, my last question was Cam Reddish. What do we do about Cam Reddish? Darvin Ham seems to love Cam Reddish more than anybody else. And how do we stop this Cam Reddish addiction from getting out of hand? Do we Tanya Harding Cam Reddish? What do we do?
Yeah, like it's just these recent. It's tough, Los Angeles Lakers. At the end of the day, that's really it. Like we've said it time and time again that like when you're playing good, they love you. If you play even a little bad, they hate you. Social media has toxified the Lakers fan base more than anything.
I know what this is. You're a Cam Reddish guy. That's what this is.
You caught me. I am a Cam Reddish guy, but truthfully, to answer your question, I think once we get into like that December stretch, once that December 15 date starts coming up, I think that is when you're going to start to see Darvin Ham kind of loosen up on Cam Reddish. I think he's giving him these shots at the beginning of the season because, truthfully, the Lakers, we thought they had a roster like more comfortable than they had in the past couple of seasons. So, but when things started to pile up, such as like his shooting numbers being down, missing like an open game winner off of LeBron's catch and shoot, that's where you kind of have to weigh that, and you have to weigh that with how he's doing on defense. And like we know, Darvin Ham, he says he's very big on defense, and specifically when talking about Cam Reddish, he views him as like a generational talent on that end. So I just think probably once December rolls around, that's when we're really gonna start to see him kind of pull the plug on Cam Reddish if the performances continue that way. But what do you think, Alex? How
I
do you
think
think they're gonna continue?
he's a totally serviceable defender. I don't think he's a particularly amazing defender. I think he's fine. I wanted more Max Christie, and Max Christie's been really rough. So whatever. But like, what are his numbers? Okay, so Cam Reddish is shooting 30.6% from the field, 12.5% from three. He's shooting 78.6% from the free throw line. So that part's fine. But it's not like he's getting the line that much. 1.8 attempts. So he's averaging 4.4 points, 2.5 rebounds. Stealing an assist a game. So, I don't know. And he's playing 20 minutes a game. It's just really rough to have a guy that's that raw offensively on the
Yeah,
floor that much when you
I mean,
need
I,
people
I
to
do
get
think
buckets.
I do think too, just like a lot of like his increase in minutes and production has been a result, like obviously because Vando has been hurt, obviously because Rui has missed some time, Gabe Vincent. So I think once we have our full lineup back on like the Vando thing, that's a whole another probably video. Like we really don't even know what's going on there. His his process just keeps getting pushed back. But I do think a fully healthy Lakers squad, obviously Cam Reddish doesn't see this much court time. And I think that would be better. I think if he's getting like, even just 8 to 10 minutes where he comes in, gives the guys a break, plays really hard defensively, hopefully knocks down a couple shots. That was more the role that I think everybody envisioned for him. You
That's
know,
fair.
it's kind of like it sucks because he's been put in this place to really produce big, and I mean, honestly, he's never been able to do that in his career. Like, yeah, he had that good stretch with the Atlanta Hawks when they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but since then, he really hasn't found his place on the NBA. I mean, I always see on Twitter people are like, the Anthony Edwards video has kept him in the NBA. Have you seen that video from back in the day?
uh, no. Send it to me.
So I'll send it to you, but we could play it like in the on screen. But pretty much in a high school, Anthony Edwards was asked like, "Who's the hardest player you ever had to guard?" And then he was like, "Oh, Cam Reddish." And then like everybody was like, "Yeah, everybody's gonna say Cam." And then he talked about how Cam gave him like 45 in a high school game.
Wow, he
So
was a stud in high school,
he was.
and then he kind of like had an unproductive year at Duke, and he fell
Yeah,
in the draft, but he fell to 10th, and then
yeah,
he just hasn't ever put it all together at the NBA level. But he is talented, so it was a totally fine flyer. It's just yeah, it's weird that things haven't quite shaken out the way that we were expecting early on.
agree completely. But yeah, like I said, I think that he's been put into like a place to really produce a lot, and I really think that if roles were reversed, maybe if Max Christie was getting those 20 minutes and he wasn't producing, then maybe that would hurt Christie's stock just because he's so young, and just because like the trainers they want to bring him along slowly. So yeah, like hopefully we get to see like a more solid mix of both of them once Vando is fully back, once Rui is fully back in the mix.
Yeah, I mean to be fair, yeah, Max Christie is shooting 28% from the
Yeah,
from the field,
yeah.
but he's not playing as many minutes. So he's playing 18 minutes, but only 5 games. Just times where he just doesn't see the floor.
I
Anyway,
think we just trade for Cam Thomas.
well, yeah, that's a good call. Yeah, and like Mikal Bridges, like why not? Right?
Take the whole farm.
Yeah. Let's just get those Nets over here. Whatever. Tony Prince has been good. So there's that. He had
Yeah.
one game. He had 1 or 2 games where he had like terrible nights, but then he made up for it the rest of the time, right? So
No, yeah, he was literally like one night it would be like 18 points on like 65% from three, and the next night it would be like 3 points, like 1 for 4 from three. So
yeah,
I think the same thing. Like it just people are making fun saying that the Lakers like fate of the season is like on Jared Vanderbilt. Like I don't think that's the case, but I do just think that the whole vision that everybody had for this team is gonna come more into fruition once we're healthy, and we can't control injuries. Unfortunately, nobody saw him missing this much time off the bat.
yeah. All right, sorry, my bad. One last thing. So I said center is the like a backup to Anthony Davis is like the big need on the roster. What do you think is the big need on the roster?
No, definitely Anthony Davis insurance is huge just because we see like how quickly he got injured. But another I guess obvious one that I want to bring up is just like that third like really reliable scorer. And I'm not saying that we necessarily have to go out and get it, but who is going to be that guy? Is it going to be Austin Reeves? Is it going to be Rui Hachimura? Is it going to be Christian Wood coming in and just taking advantage of mismatches, continuing to scorch from three? So we could look into the trade market for that. I know Buddy Hield is still being linked to the Lakers every now and then. I know Zach LaVine, if the Bulls continue to go down the route they're going, he's going to be a hot name that I'm sure the Lakers will take a look at. I know you're a Bulls fan, so what would you think about potential Zach LA reunion? I know is he on an
Well,
expiring deal, or how many years does he have left on that deal? Like 3 years?
yeah, he just signed with them in the summer of 2022.
Two. Okay.
So he's in the second season of the contract.
And he's pushing. He's just about 30 years old too.
He's a little under 30.
He's like 29, I think.
Yeah, let's confirm the timing of the deal. But I think that he'd be an okay fit. He's a bit of a ball hog, but you just have to keep the ball out of his hands at the end of games, except when you're looking to him to just be a catch and shoot guy. He's in the second year of the deal. It runs through 2026, and he has a player option for 2026 to 2027. He's 28 right now, and he's a really awesome offensive player who can be selfish on that end and is a bad defender, which is weird because he's pretty athletic still, despite 2 knee surgeries. So I think in the right context, I think he'd be a pretty good fit. So yeah, the Lakers with the leadership of LeBron and Anthony Davis, I think that could be interesting.
Other than LaVine, I just think, like I said, even if we don't make a move for someone, we just need that reliable like third guy, and the second guy when either LeBron James or Anthony Davis sits out. Like, who is going to be the player that we can give the ball to and just say like, hey, like if we need a bucket in the fourth or if we need to get started early, like who's going to be that player that Darvin Ham and LeBron James and co is going to be able to rely on.
Yeah, I think you made a really good point that like by December 15th, by the time that we can trade players that sign new contracts in free agency, most of them, then we're going to have a better chance to sort of take stock of the roster and see what the Lakers to do. I would assume that they would be very active because Pelinka's always looking for moves right now, which is great.
Yeah.
So
I think it'd be hilarious if that December 15th like wasn't a rule and like a week into the season, teams were already looking to trade like someone they just signed.
That would be amazing. That would be really funny because people would overreact too. They couldn't help themselves.
Definitely.
But yeah, that's wild. All right, well, great. Noel, this is an awesome sort of catch up with where the Lakers are. We're 8 games into the season. Hopefully, the next time we talk, they will be closer to 500 than they are right now.
100%. No, super happy to join here again, and we're gonna try to get these popping like very, very often this season, even if whether we're in the stew, whether we're remote. So just make sure you guys subscribe, hit that like button, tap that notification bell, go read all of Alex's work over at alllakers.com. You can follow me at Noise by Noel. Thank you guys for watching.
All right, peace. Go Lakers.